Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today I have with me Jess, and she is also a previous doula client of mine in Portland. Jessie, introduce yourself. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, I'm Jessie. I had Allison as my doula for my first baby, Eliana, and that was back in 2022. And about a year ago, I had my second baby, Camila. So I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I live in Portland, Oregon. Has lived here for a little over 10 years now. Um, and I was previously a swim coach, so like swimming is my background. And currently, I am working with my husband with his businesses as the bookkeeper for Cascade Bikes, his bike shop, and then he also has a construction company, so doing the books for both of those. So learned a new job and a new skill while having a newborn and also being pregnant and then having another baby. So it's been a busy last 3 years.
Wow. Oh, Jessie, I didn't know that. That's amazing that you're able to kind of like take in that role and help out with the company side of things for Jess. Amazing. Oh,
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like that skill set is, very tailored to me. So like I've been having a lot of fun with it for sure.
it's awesome. Well, yeah, I'd love to hear about both of these births today. And just if you want to take me back to when you and Jess were even starting to think about having a baby and what that whole process looked like.
Yeah, so we we were together for a bit, and then like we met in 2018, and then fast forward 2021, I moved in. We were getting more serious, and we kind of just like talked about non-negotiable, like what our non-negotiables were. And I his was I'm never moving from the Pacific Northwest, and I was like, okay. And mine was I want kids, and he's like, okay. So I'm really happy that he did ask that because um yeah, you don't want to be like that's what you want and have, be with somebody who's like in the end you're like about to get married and be like, I actually don't want kids. Um so he's like, okay, he's like, let's do it. He is 15 years older than me, so I think he was just like finally at a place where he was ready and didn't want to wait any longer. And we just decided to start trying. And he's thinking, maybe in a year, because a lot of our friends, it's taking a little bit longer. But then it was like literally the next month I I became pregnant. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, super, super exciting. I'm, very grateful that it was that easy for us to get pregnant.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad. I didn't know it went that fast for you guys. That's Yeah, it comes from that place too, because when we started trying to, we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it 6 months, maybe a year. And then it was like, yeah, the next month. And it was like, okay, I'm just so privileged and just feeling so grateful for that also, but also just feeling like, whoa, were we really ready? And like, what's that all gonna be? Like complete shift. Like, okay, now we have 9 months, not even maybe 9 months to get everything ready. So, oh, so what did that look like? So you two are okay, we are pregnant. And then what? What does that pregnancy look like? How are you feeling? How are you preparing for birth? Yeah, what are you two doing?
Yeah, I was really excited. You just like always think about like when I mean I always thought like, hey, how's it gonna feel when you get pregnant? Like it really was like it felt really magical, like just knowing that this little being is like growing inside you. So it was like fun the first like even I just remember being on the pool deck because I was coaching at the time and just feel like I have this like little secret. And I just like remember those moments and not when people didn't even know yet. And it was it was very exciting. It was really fun telling, my sister, and my sister literally like started, I was FaceTiming with her, and she was like, just like spit out whatever she had in her mouth and just started like crying, and like she was like like losing it. It was so sweet. It was like, yeah, it was like the best moment. Um, telling my good friend and my parents, and yeah, just like that whole process it was smooth. I felt nauseous, in the beginning, but thankfully that like went away after the first trimester. And yeah, with your first, you're able to like sleep and really give your body the time it needs to rest. And I just, yeah, started, I definitely like dove into wanting to plan the nursery and, like talking to my sister-in-law about, all the things that you need because she has three children. So I relied on her about, like the best gear, the baby monitor, like, I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. I was like definitely overwhelmed with like all the things that you needed to get. Um, but yeah, then we decided that we wanted to have a doula. And so I just like Googled doulas in Portland and found the Birth First website and contacted Rebecca that way. I don't remember whose idea even it was though to contact a doula. I do not remember because I feel like maybe like Jess was, I don't know. Maybe because I knew I had a few friends that had doulas, and it seemed, I was probably like social media or something, or like YouTube, that I was seeing that, more people were having doulas, and it seemed like a good a good route to go, having that extra support.
Oh wow. So you knew what a doula was already and you just
Yeah.
okay, wow. Do you remember how if you interviewed many doulas? Because I remember just yeah, I remember our interview, but I'm curious if you remember if you had more than one.
Yeah, no, we were set up with you, and I don't remember the other girl, but I like told Jess like if you know Jess, he's like, don't waste any time. Like just pick.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to do interviews. So I think we were like on our paddle boards, and I was just telling him like, okay, this person is like this, da 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 da, this person this, and he's like that one. I was like,
No way.
okay, yeah, I was like, I'll set up an interview. And so we just interviewed you. And he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Wow. No, definitely remember his vibe was definitely like that. So, oh, thank you, Jess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
no, yeah, definitely struggled, like, picking you and having you as our doula. Like, yeah, it's been great.
oh, no, it was such an honor. I mean, I loved being your doula and I loved just supporting you during your birth. And yeah, just bring me back. Do you remember kind of like how everything started for you? What do you remember?
The birth itself,
Yeah, if you want to go there.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they do all the tests and stuff before. It's like I was GBS positive. And so that means if your water breaks, which is a 10% chance, right, that your water is going to break before you like go into labor,
Mhm.
um, that you're going to have to go to the hospital and get put on the antibiotic they give you it once every hour. And so I was like 3 days past my due date. And at this point, like I wasn't working anymore because I didn't want to be like on the pool deck. I think took, I stopped working like a week before my due date. And so this was 3 days after our due date. It was a Friday morning. And I wake up and I'm like, huh, like I feel like a little bit wet. And then I'm like, stand up and like a little bit comes out. And I'm like, I'm in denial about it. Cause I'm like, I do not want to go to the hospital. Like I don't feel anything going on. And but like so I'm like waiting, like, is this like really is like am I trickling water? Because I'm definitely not peeing. And it's like, yes, like something is going on. And Jess is still in bed, and I like walk over to him. I'm like, I think my water broke, and he's like, wait, what? And because he's thinking, what every
You
like movie, like, let's go. But like I'm like super calm, like nothing's going on, no contractions, like no feeling. Like I didn't feel anything leading up. Like I didn't really even feel like Braxton Hicks with my first one. Like no signs of labor. And so I do call the hospital, and they're like, come in so we can do the test to see if your water did break. And we're like, okay, well, let's, pack our bags because we didn't have bags packed. And Jess like did a workout and we showered. We were like in no rush to get there. So it's like calmly driving to the hospital. It just was weird because it just didn't seem like anything was happening. But we go up there and they test, and yes, your water did break. We're going to admit you. Think about induction, because you don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to just like be waiting in the hospital like for days. It's like my thought, like, this is not a fun place to be for that long. So that's going through my head. And they get us like set up in the room, and Jess is like, getting it all ready and set up. And in his mind, it's, they're all telling me that I'm probably not even gonna like have the baby at all until like the next day, or like even start labor until the next day. So I'm like, okay. Um, like, yeah, so I'm just like hanging out. They're doing all their whatever they do, they like like poking me, like putting stuff in the whatever in my arm, which that was like probably the worst part. Like I really did not like that. That was the feeling of it, and like it felt like my arm was cold. And at that time, Jess had like left to go see his friends and go get
What?
us food. Yeah, they were like last hurrah
Oh, that's
across the
right.
street.
Wait, I remember. Yes, yes.
And then that's like when, I think it's probably because he was gone too, that like I was kind of like getting emotional. I was like, oh my God, like I don't like this thing in my arm, like I can't like move around. And then he came back, and one of the midwives came in, and we like talked about getting, letting me be able to move around more, like getting some of this stuff off me, which she did let me, and that was awesome. Just to get like a little bit of relief and not be, because I think they come in and the band on your belly to monitor the baby like always is sliding off. I was like, I just don't like the feeling of all of this. Like I just didn't like it. And I'm trying to relax, eat food, watch movies, but I'm thinking like this is not gonna happen for a while. I did decide to take the miso
Mhm.
because I was like, I'm not feeling anything, and I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't want to be here for like days waiting, or I don't- like if I don't know if like risk like went up at that point. But so I took like the little miso pill just 2 times, and like contractions like were starting, but they were like coming on like strong. Like I remember like laying there and like kind of having to breathe through it. And I was like, wait, like is like this can't be happening that fast. And Jess, in his mind, it's like again, this isn't gonna happen for a long time. So feel like he's like a little bit dismissing me. And then I'm just like, I need to hold it together. I'm like stronger than this. Like I'm like I don't need to. This is nothing, right? Like I'm just thinking that. Like, is it me? Like, am I like I don't know. So a lot of things going through my head, and I think like contractions like were like going. So like I didn't need to be like on any like induction thing, and I was like starting to not really like cope well, and like that's when I was like, Jess, can like you call Allison? And like he was like, no, we're good, and I was like, no, we're not good. I'm
We're
not good.
oh,
Yeah. I was like, I am not coping well. Like, I think I was in the bathroom when you came, and I was just like, oh my God. I was just like so happy that you were there.
oh. No, I was waiting too because I remember you guys let me know that you were heading in and all of that. And I was just like, okay, you're starting to take the miso. And you can take up to like 8 doses in a 24-hour period. So, based on what they were saying too and what you were feeling, not feeling much, but I was also just like so ready to come at any point.
Yeah, I think it might have been like 10:30 or 11, like when you came,
Hmm. Hmm.
from what I remember.
Yeah. So,
And I felt like once you came, like you're like, Jess, go to sleep. You went over there, went to sleep. And then we just like, I don't really know. We just like went to different, on the ball probably was like the first thing. And after that, it was just like I just like went into my little hole
oh
and
yeah.
didn't look up.
Oh yeah, you really went there. You like really like accepted labor land with all of your body. And it just witnessing that from coming in and seeing where you were just emotionally and then just seeing how you just kind of like went into that place of trust and it just like there's no other stronger like I can't even explain how incredible it is to witness that strength.
Yeah,
And
but
just
like I could not have done that without you.
oh my gosh,
Because yeah, like your presence and the techniques you use to like relax me, especially like in between the contractions, because the contractions just like went from like 0 to 100, and they were strong and they were painful, and they were very close together, at least like what it felt like. And I didn't have any buildup with that. And yes, remember you saying, just, let it go in between, like relax. Because I was like so tense, and you're like, just relax in between. And I'm just like, this is hard. Like, when is like where? Because I never got checked. So I was like, where am I in this? But then I'm just gonna one at a time, I guess, And I do remember like almost falling asleep, even like on the bed, like sideline. Like this is like the middle of the night too, and I was tired. I was like, when can I go back? When can I go to sleep? So I think I did fall asleep a little bit in between the
Mhm.
contractions, which is insane because like how long was that? Like a couple minutes.
But it makes all the difference too, like just regaining that energy and everything. If you can really get to a place of that total relaxation where you can fall asleep in between, like that is such strength. It's incredible that you were able to tap into that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was just exhaustion, I think.
But trust me,
But yeah,
you've seen those people with the all-nighters and stuff it's so hard to do. It's really hard to do. But I think also like, I don't know, being a swim coach, I don't know, I just feel like you were also like mentally, you were just somewhere else. It was very special to witness that. So I want you to take that. It was exhaustion, but also you were incredibly strong.
Jess and I like we do talk about it often because it's the births, because it's just wild. Like it happens and you're like, wait, what? And then time goes on and you're like, wait, and then you think about it, you're like, wait, what? Like it's just amazing like how, birth works. And we just like talk about like it, because people say it's like running a marathon or whatnot, but I do like attribute that kind of like just being able to stay with it one at a time to like intervals in swimming, like we're doing 50s on the 30. Like I did that like so many times. And sometimes my one time my coach was like, I'm not telling you how many we're doing. We're just gonna go until I say stop. So maybe I should say thank you to that coach for
Yes.
preparing me for
Seriously though. Yes.
yeah. But it's very similar to that, like kind of getting into that mindset of
Mhm.
it's gonna hurt, but like at least like with the contractions, like you do have the rest in between, and yeah, like you're working towards something. I always try to remind myself, like if I relax, if I'm, letting this happen, because really you just need to let it happen, like once it's going, um, that she's gonna come sooner.
Mm.
That's what I was telling myself.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And I think you probably were telling me things along the lines of that too. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Because all you want to do is like, like clench or scream or swear. And
Mhm.
you're like, no, yeah, you have to relax. But yeah, yeah, it's hard to do.
It's so hard to do. Now that I've done it, it's so hard to do. So now I can actually say that, just like, wow,
Yeah.
like see all these women that I've supported where I was just like, wow, like that you tapped into something special. Seriously.
Mhm.
Okay, so things
And
are
again,
getting
I could, yeah.
just sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I said I couldn't, yeah, like you were the guiding light though.
Mm. Oh, thank you. But oh gosh, yeah, trust me, it was more incredible just to witness that.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, so things are getting more intense. And then what
Yeah, yeah, I remember that, we decided to go in the tub, and that's where, you know, I think the transition happened, but like the tub brought so much relief.
happened?
Like I wasn't like at a breaking point, but I was like, this is like, again, like, where am I in this? I like nobody was asking me anything, which is in my birth plan, you know? I'm like, I don't know where we are. Like I was just like blind to it all. And again, just like trusting the people around me. And it was nice that like really no medical staff was like with us that often. They would just come in for the antibiotic and take vitals, right? Every hour. But otherwise it was just us. This point, Jess does get up from his slumber and is with us in the tub. And I got some relief. I felt like the contraction, we had like a bit of a break in between like one of the contractions. I was like, okay, like this is what I needed. Um, but then it started like really strong in the tub. And this was the craziest part is like I felt Eliana like down in me. And I was like, whoa, like that's crazy.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I just remember you asking me, like, do you feel like you need a push? I'm like, I don't know. I literally did not know. Like, I don't know. Maybe. You're like, do you feel pressure down
Mhm,
there? And I was like, I think so. Like, it's all new sensations. The
mhm,
second time, I was like, oh, yeah, we're here. But the
mhm.
first time, I was like, I can't, like, I don't know. Like, are we? And I was like, I don't want to leave this tub. Like, can I
Mhm.
just stay in the tub? But they don't let you do that at
Mm,
Providence.
mm.
So getting out of that tub was brutal. Like I just remember like you and Jess like yeah, I do remember Jess like getting me through some of those contractions in the tub, like holding the head. That was really nice, and because those were really strong and it was hard. Um, but then yeah, getting up and getting like carried pretty much like to the bed. And I remember Corinne Coco delivered Aliana, and so she came in and like was just like sitting there, but like wanting to check to see. And at this point, I'm like on my hands and my knees and had the combs in my hands, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, is this happening? But she wanted to check, and she's like, "Can you get on your back?" And I was like, "No."
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Like, can you
Mm-mm.
maybe get on your side? And I was like, no. But I'm like, maybe I can try. Like, it had to be in between contractions. Like it was, yeah, it was painful at this point, and I was able to get on my side, and then and I think she was just like, oh, okay, like she could see maybe.
Hmm.
Um, and so I just went back into position, and yeah, the last the last bit was hard. I just remember it being very hard, and then I
In what
do,
way? In what way was
it
it
was
hard?
just hurt. It hurt. It hurt. My where your uterus is, like the low belly muscles, I felt like they were sore for like months, like after. Like they were just so tired and I don't know if it was just I'm going like 0 to 100 so quickly and how intense they were. I don't know. But yeah, the tightening, the feeling, like it was just hurting. And then yeah, so with each contraction, I'm just like, no, 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 no. I just remember saying that, like, I was like, "Oh, please no." I'm like, "Why isn't anyone helping me?"
Oh, and only you can push her out, but you were
I
because
know.
I just remember it going so fast actually after you getting out of the tub. I don't think,
Yeah.
I mean, I bet in your mind, like it felt like a long time and that, yeah, that was the hardest part because it got just so intense when you get out of the tub. I mean, you're just like increasing the sensation so much more. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so it was go time when you were on the side. And do you remember if she did an exam or she did do the exam and was like, yes,
Yeah, I think she just saw, like, could see the
yeah,
head, like, like, yeah. So
it was there. Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
good to push." Yeah, because you have to wait. So I remember, yeah, because they're like, "No, we need to," you saying like, I think you were telling them like, "We need somebody to get in here to like check her because I think it's like time."
Mhm.
And so I was kind of like, just like, not really like holding it in, but I was like trying to be like at a standstill with it all because I didn't know like if I was gonna, yeah, like hurt myself more or like tear. I don't know. So
Mhm.
once she said, "You're good," I'm like, okay. So I don't really know if I just like, yes. I don't think I was like starting to push yet. Maybe they were telling me. I don't remember. But eventually I did. I was, trying to get her out. And but I remember the head came out and the contraction stopped. So we're just like it's just like silence. And then I'm kind of freaking out because I don't know, like, is she okay? Like her head is out. Like, and then,
Mhm.
Jess later told me that like you guys were like, she's fine. Like, the umbilical cord is, still helping her breathe, whatever. But I'm like, I don't know. Nobody's saying anything. Like I assume it's all okay. And I'm just waiting for the next contraction for her to be able to come out. And then that happens and I was literally so exhausted. Like physically, but like sleep too, just, because she was born at 7:11 a.m. And so I was just laboring all night and yeah, hadn't, slept at all. But, she had come out and then everyone, I was just like literally exhausted. I'm like, okay, like I just want to like sleep now. But everyone's like, no, you're baby. And I was like, oh, okay. I just wanted to like collapse and, yeah, I scooped her up and I just remember saying like, my baby. And she was just like so slippery.
Hmm.
And I was like trying to like, because I was on my knees and I was like, trying to pull her up. They're like, no, like she's still attached. And I was so like, I'll hold her down here. I was like, oh, okay. It
Oh,
was just like the biggest like relief. And then I was, yeah, like ecstatic and wow, like just wowed.
mm, wow. Wow. But then you had to push the placenta out. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Or do you have any recollection? Because you were like so
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably just thinking of the second time pushing out. Like I do kind of like remember at that point, it's like the contraction like does like you kind of push a little bit, but it's not like it hurts at all. Like you're already like that thing is like jello.
Literally. It's not, it has no bone.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Oh.
then yeah, once that did come out, I was like, all right, we're good. But then they do, I remember like I was kind of shaking a little bit from it all and just like and then the stitching up wasn't fun. I had like maybe a couple stitches. I had a first degree tear,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
Um that yeah, so that didn't feel that good. But then
Mm.
once like that was done, I was like, all right.
It's
And
so
then I remember like them I don't know if we like tried I think probably we did like a feeding right after, but then they like get you up to like go to the bathroom
Mhm.
and like go pee, and that was fine. Then like I got up and like walked out. I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, I could walking out of the bathroom. I was like so happy. I'm so happy to be done.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, you are so incredible. I mean, it was just, I mean, just mind blowing. Some partners are really, wanting to, and Jess was, he was totally there, but it's just like when it's just like me and a client, like it is something different. Like it is like partners that I love it when they're all in, but I also love it when they like know their place kind of thing also of like, I know nothing about this, and we've hired you as the person, and you can, that kind of
Yeah.
a thing. And I just felt like with you, it just like it really was like a connection. And just it just feels like you're going through it together. Like it just felt like I was just like in it with you. And that is just something I'll never forget. Is like it was just the middle of the night and you were just incredible. You were just like riding each wave with your breath, with everything. I could never see that you was like, oh, like this is hard or like that you were trying to escape in any way. It was really just like you were really going with it. And it was such a beautiful birth to be able to be a part of.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you. Really.
Totally could have. I'm just glad you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Um, well, I would love to hear just about your postpartum and breastfeeding as well, but I also want to be respectful of your time. So also want to hear about your second birth because I wasn't there for it and I want to know
Yeah.
all the things, all like you want to hop right into. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. So second time around, we wanted to hire Allison again, but you were moving and we were very sad.
Mm.
Um, but you had recommended Rebecca, who's, one of the founders of Birth First. And so we're like, okay, let's do it. Well, actually, at first I was like, do we like, should we hire a doula or not? Once we found out that you couldn't do it. And Jess was like, "No, we need to." And I was like, "Okay, if you're saying that, then like you're not you're not going to be what I need
Mm.
for the birth." And so yeah, so we, hired Rebecca and she is awesome and was such like it was such a it was she's like very like when you have the meetings, the first time we, like it was a lot more educational and, because we were totally new, but the second time she took like she treated it was like felt like couples therapy a little bit, or like, what do you need more, you know, for you to be like fulfilled or, like happy outside of the birth, like what do you need as a person? So it was interesting that way, and unique and cool. And so yeah, like the pregnancy kind of was very similar to my first. And we found out it was another girl, and I felt like I was more nauseous or sick, but like also I had like a toddler to take care of during the whole time, so it was just different in that way. Um, and we had my parents were planning to come for um on her due date. Since I was like 3 days late the first time, we're like, yeah, like I'm not gonna have the baby before the due date is like what I was thinking. And like leading up to it, I was like, I, you know, was feeling way more of the Braxton Hicks this time around, the tightening a lot more. Um, Actually, the day before I had Camilla, I had gone in for an appointment, just like a check-in, and she was like measuring the same as the last check-in. And so they wanted me to go get an ultrasound to see if everything was good. Went and got the ultrasound that day, later that day, and they were like, it's all good. She's fine. I was like, okay. Um, I was feeling like I was getting like some contractions at night, like that night before, like leading up to it. And I was like, Jess, like, this isn't nothing. Like, this is something. But it was just like maybe like 6 contractions at night and then it like stopped. And then that's when I went for the appointments. And then that that night I started to feel some more like that. And I'm like, okay, like they're kind of painful, but like far apart. I went to sleep, was like kind of having some contractions overnight. And I'm like, I just like thinking that it's like pre-labor because it was 5 days before due date. And um Jess did contact his sister to be like on standby because our nanny was like our second. It was like my parents and then our nanny, but it was my nanny's like birthday, and so she was out of town. So then we had like contacted his sister. We're like, be on alert. Like we don't know, but this is what's happening. And I remember at like 1 p.m. I started tracking contractions because they started to be consistent. It was like they were like 10 minutes apart and they were like a minute long and they were like intense and then they just started like increasing with intensity. But I was like definitely having to like breathe through them. And I remember like Jess did go to like work for a little bit and I, had Eliana. She watched Moana 3 times that day. Like at least 3 times that day because I like was just like laying on the couch. And in my head, I'm like, like, you don't know how long it can take. Like I'm texting with my best friend. I'm texting with Rebecca, like just kind of giving her updates. And I was just I just didn't know. I didn't know if this was like the real thing. I didn't want to, worry anybody or whatever. And but I was like, just, keep tracking, just relax. I'm like, I'm gonna try to sleep if I can, because if I'm doing another overnighter, like I'm not gonna get into that like same situation. So I like fully like tried to like just be resting, taking it really easy. At some point, it was probably I don't know, 4 or 5 p.m. Rebecca told me to get into the tub to kind of be like, okay, is this actually happening? So filled my tub up, and like Jess was home at this point, and I just like closed the door and I just like laid in there. And the first time, like I think it was like 20 minutes apart, my contractions kind of like slowed, but then it was like I had two more in the tub and those were like 10 minutes apart. So I'm like, okay, like it's still going, like it's still happening. And I got out of the tub, I went to the couch and I took like a nap. I think I took like a 20-minute nap. So I don't know if again, like either I slept through, I probably just had like a break in between the contractions. And again, I'm still like, I don't think this is happening. Like, okay, I'm gonna maybe like have some food. So I'm like trying to make myself a quesadilla in between the contractions, and I have like the ball in the kitchen and Jess is there and I was like, oh no, I was like, I held on, I was like sitting down, I was like
No.
it's like I was just like screaming. Jess was like, I'm calling Rebecca. I'm like, She's like, my sister's on her way. Like Jess kind of took the reins and was like, this is happening. Like you're delusional.
You're still in
And I
denial.
like, yeah. I like went into the bedroom and I'm like just like trying to cope. Like the dogs are here and they're annoying me and Eliana was all over me, like just like my koala bear, like not and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I'm just wanting to be there for her, but I'm like, it's hurting. And I remember Jess had it was like the night of like this Netflix fight, like Mike Tyson and that other guy, and Jess had that fight on, and I'm like, this is so like I was just like so annoyed about that. And then like at that point, like Rebecca came and she was like, okay, we can turn this off. Like, what do we need? And every time like Jess was saying every time that I talked to her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Like it's just a little like contraction. Like that's what Jess was thinking that I said to her. Because I think whenever I got on the phone with somebody, like that one contraction wasn't as strong.
Mm.
And so then so then that was like messing with me too. I'm like, well, that one wasn't strong. Also, they were always 10 minutes apart. And they say like don't go to the hospital until what, 5 minutes apart?
Yeah, 5 1 1,
So
5 minutes apart, lasting a minute for an hour.
yeah, but like they were lasting a minute for like hours, but 10 minutes apart. So I'm like, okay, well, we're not gonna go. And Rebecca, I think, like saw enough where she's like, well, I think the telltale because I was like had like my earphones and I was like, either she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, like either we can go to the hospital or I'm gonna go into that bathroom and lock the door and I'm gonna deal with it in there because like I because and she's like, oh, okay. Like because I was like in it, but like I think she saw like my Eliana, the dogs, like I couldn't relax. Like I couldn't really let go of like being a mom, like to everybody around me. And so like it wasn't like I don't know, it was like kind of it was making it harder for things to progress or whatever. But we had called the hospital and they're like, we're here if you want to come in. And we're like, okay, like I think we're gonna come in. And then so then I was like, okay, this is happening. And we got my stuff together and my sister-in-law like literally like came in like minutes before we left and we were like standing by the cars and Rebecca came to me, she's like, you already like you're 5 minutes apart. So like even just I think like knowing that like it was happening or like that we were going like it started to things were happening quicker, so I was like, all right, sweet. Like, I was excited. And yeah, driving to the hospital was different this time. I had like a few contractions and it's the worst having a contraction sitting.
Hmm.
Literally, like it's the worst. And I was yelling at Jess to like go faster, like just get us there. And we just like park and we just like park right in front and the labor and delivery knew we were coming, but they still had to like go through because it was at this point it was like 7. I think we left at like 7:10 or around there 7:30 and it took like us a while to like get through security. You have to like give them your IDs and I'm like holding it together. Like I'm just like, having contractions when I have them, but like in between, I'm just like head down, like, try to like give my ID. And I think they're like, this person's fine. But then then it would happen. And oh, I was like, my patience was low. And, but, I had Jess, I had Rebecca with me and we, were able to like get through, and we were walking there. I didn't want to sit down, right? I didn't want to go like on a wheelchair, but like every time I had a contraction, like I'd stop and like have it, deal
Hmm.
with it. And everyone's like, "Do you need a wheelchair?" And Rebecca's like, "No, we do not need a wheelchair. We're okay." And like literally everybody, like every time I had a contraction, we had like 5 people ask me. And I do think it's actually really good. Like that walk from, the car to the room, I think really helped things move on. Even with like the first birth, I remember every time I was standing, I could like feel more stuff happening. Like that, like gravity really, really does help. Um, and then we, of course, like are waiting to get into the doors of labor and delivery, and somebody's like on the phone with them, just like talking. And we were waiting for that, for them to open the doors for us. And like out, Rebecca's like, if she doesn't stop soon, I'm gonna I'll intervene. But thankfully she like finally got off and we were able to go in. And then we were at the desk and they're like trying to, I'm like, again, head down, I'm in my own zone. And they're trying to get us to go to like triage. And Rebecca's like, no, this is her second baby. She, whatever, blah, 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 advocating for me. So always another, great reason to have a doula. And then I had a contraction though. And then they saw me and they're like, okay, we can go, into a room. And so I didn't have to go to triage, didn't get checked. Like at this point, it was like 8. I was actually yesterday, like updating the baby books.
Mm.
So I did just like look at like the timeline and everything. Um, so it was like 8:10 ish, and we're in the room and they're just like, getting a band on me to monitor baby. And it's like happening, like it's fully happening. Like there was like no admitting me into, the system, or like there's no IV or
Mm.
anything. Like, and they're, we're like, okay, like let's get you on the bed, get you undressed, like, and then it was just go time from there. And like an hour later, she came.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah.
How?
And the feeling, like it was, yeah, it was intense. Like I just remember like being in the same position I was the first time with my combs, and Jess like was squeezing on my hips, and I like remember Rebecca, because I was like swearing this, I was like, no, 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 I was like saying the F word, and Rebecca was like, just, I don't know what she said. It was more just like, no, invite it in, instead of saying like no, 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 or swearing, say like yes, yes, or something. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, in my head, I'm like, gosh, that sounds so corny. And I was like, oh, fine.
Fine.
And I like did it, and actually was like helping. It did
Hmm.
help
Yeah.
saying that, and just like it shifted the mindset, got me to like relax again, inviting all of it in. And I remember like going into when it like kind of switched this time from like the feeling like of the contractions to like just the pressure, and it wasn't as bad this time, probably because I've already pushed out a human head. So that was like surprising, that I was like, oh, like this doesn't, like it's out of, my lower belly, and then it's just like the pressure. And I remember that, I saw that like they put like the blanket, the baby blanket right by like on the bed, like, and I was like, okay, we're like doing it. Because again, like I never was like checked, like they just like looked to like, yeah, we're good to go. You can, let it happen. And I was ready this time for Camilla to like get her. And I just remember being just I just said the first thing I said to her was like she's so tiny because you're used to like your baby back home and they're much bigger at that point. And then I like held her. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so tiny.
Oh, which position
Yeah,
pushing in this time?
same, same.
Same. That's your go-to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands and knees. I don't know why. It was like I probably knew I was going to like go to that position, but it I don't know, it just seems like a natural position. Like even like I would love to have like a birth in a bathtub or whatever because I just love the water and it just feels so much better. But even then I think, you'd be like on your knees. It's
Mm,
just like, yeah, like
mm,
the gravity and I think it's like most comfortable for, the pressure of it all too.
mm, for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So incredible. Oh, how was Jess doing through that whole second birth? How, because he was not taking a nap this time. He was literally there for
No.
all of it. So how was he?
Yes. Yeah, he was excited. I think, it's like I went into it like I knew he told me this recently. He's like, you knew you could do it because you did it already. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I think it wasn't as the same thing happened where like the heads, was out and like I wasn't panicking with that. I was like, all right. I think they asked me though, like, can you push her out? I was like, no, 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 I can't be pushing right now. I'm like waiting for like we're gonna wait till the contraction happens. But yeah, I think he was comfortable with it. He kind of knew what was happening and he was just excited. I do remember we like got into the room and he immediately like got the twinkle lights out and
Oh.
like literally we were there for an hour. He like immediately like opened the bag, twinkle lights, put on my birth music.
Mhm.
I had the same playlist for both, which I do think like that playlist, especially the first birth, like also really helped. Like
Mm,
having those songs that were playing, like really helped like calm me down. And they're like songs that make me happy. So
mm.
he got that going, and yeah, I mean he was just there. Like I mean I've seen the pictures and videos that Rebecca took, and he's just like yeah, like he's always in the background like yeah, I did it. It was the same.
Gosh, that's amazing. Oh, I love that. I mean, twinkle lights and music, those are huge tools, very important tools. So those he was on it with those. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Jess. Oh, that's
Mm.
amazing. I'm so, oh, just both of those stories are just incredible. I mean, did you feel anything emotionally with the second? Was there anything, was it the same as the first, or was there anything different with that first meeting her besides that she was tiny?
Yeah, so she was breech, which I didn't have with she wasn't breech at the birth.
No.
I remember she was breech at 36 weeks. And like before that, I felt like I wasn't connecting too much with her because I had Eliana to take care of and I'm just like so busy. And but once, like, I do think that having her breach was like a blessing in disguise because I then was like really focused on her and like I was like trying to communicate with her to like, to get her to like flip. Like I was doing everything to flip that baby. Like I had the wood plank like in my bedroom. I was upside down on it. Like it was like my part-time job getting this baby to flip. Like I was doing all of the movements, like everything. And I think like through that, I really like started to focus in on her and build like a connection with her. So once she came, I was like, oh, like my precious little baby. Like I was so ecstatic. Again, like to like the relief of like having done it and the feeling of that accomplishment. Um, yeah, it's like unmatched. Like I always tell people, like I'm very fortunate to like have had the births that I've had. And again, like I like having a doula by my side, like I wouldn't have been able to like get through it without you guys. Um, and just like the prep like before and but I tell people like if I love birth. Like I would give birth like every couple of years to just like have that feeling. It's like kind of like a drug, you know, like of that of the hormones or whatever that like you get after the birth or like just that accomplishment, you know. It's but I don't think we're having any more babies.
You feel
But it's just
done.
yeah, yeah. But it's just yeah, it's like really special and amazing. This time I feel like people will be like annoyed at me for like saying it, but like the second time was easier than the first, and I don't like. I mean, is I think mainly because like the contractions weren't like so close together for so long, or maybe like my body was just like already like had been through it, you know. So the sensations weren't as intense. But
Mhm.
like, you know, I didn't feel like as the like total relief or like with Eliana, I was like, whoa. And then the second time I was like, whoa, that was awesome. I'm like, I am proud, but like I didn't feel it wasn't as like as as much, you know, as it was with like the first
Mm.
for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I don't know.
Wow. Oh, no, I mean it's definitely it's special for sure. I just am curious, did you ever feel when she did flip? Do you remember what you were doing or when did you have a feeling when that happened? Just to go
Yeah,
back and
I think it was I was laying in bed and I was like oh like doing like just like on my side with my knee like, you know, up really high like on my side.
Mhm.
And I was like sleeping like that every night since I had found out she was breech. And then I do remember feeling like some big movements in the morning. And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, like maybe that could happen, but like everything, like I'm just like, is this ahead? Like you just don't know too. And so I'm just over analyzing everything, like was obsessed about it. And um, but I think that was when it happened though. It was like in the morning, I felt some big movements because then I was like working later that day, and then I just started feeling these like kicks. And that I hadn't felt like there before. And I was like, wait, is that it? And I think this was like a Friday, and I had like an appointment scheduled maybe Wednesday or something.
Mhm.
And I like called them and I got it like moved up to like Monday. Because like I wanted and you know, because if she had flipped, then you're not supposed to be doing those
Okay.
exercises. So then I had to get I like over the weekend I wasn't doing I was like battling in my head because I'm like, well, if she's not flipped, I'm losing out on these 3 days of doing exercises. You know, but if she is flipped, then I shouldn't be doing them. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Oh, no, I love that you have that feeling too now that you just want to have more babies every couple of years, even if you're not going to, because I feel like that in itself is like you've done the hardest thing that humans can do. Twice you've done it. And it's just being able to look back at those accomplishments and feel that pride and that it's like you said, unmatched. And I think that that's the goal for I feel like so many birthing people in the world. I'm just like, I want more people to have that feeling and to feel that, and that it doesn't have to be this scary thing, that it can be a huge accomplishment and that we can do hard things. Because I mean, that's the whole point, you know, that's how nature designed it to be really freaking hard so that you get this little huge prize at the end that's worth every single contraction.
Hmm.
So glad that you had those experiences, and thank you just so much for sharing it all just so beautifully. I'm so grateful to have you in my life.
Yeah. Likewise. Like, yeah, I again like I like bow down to you.
Oh, no, I'm glad you found me. I'm glad I was in Portland at the time I was, even though it was a short time. I'm Yeah, I'm just so grateful for all the people I met during that short time that they made a profound impact on my life and how I see birth and how, just community in Portland is that's the place to have a baby. It's one of the most beautiful and also just magical places. So just, yeah.
Yeah. We
Oh,
miss you. Come
oh,
back.
oh, yeah. We're planning to. We're planning to. You'll be the first to know.